Hi, gang. It's JT.
And Patrick.
Coming up on today's episode, we reveal our Fab 5 Disney soundtracks and albums. As always, we discuss the latest Disney news, and we close out the show with some quick D. All that and more on today's episode of Gays Do the D.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Patrick, best believe I'm still bejeweled. When I walk in the room, I can still make the whole place shimmer. Kazuki.
You're never going to let that album go, are you?
I'm in my Midnights era. Sorry.
I love it. JT, music of the heart, Landry.
Ooh, a great Meryl Streep performance right there.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Did you know that Wes Craven directed that movie?
I did. And, you know, that is a fact that was filed away in the back of my mind. And much like the Dewey Decimal System, you just opened up that card drawer and pulled that out.
Yep.
Out of Craven, Wes. Because, yes, and that is such a weird movie for him to have directed.
Such a weird movie for him to direct that one. But God bless. It was a pretty good movie, I have to say.
Also starring Gloria, The Rhythm Is Gonna Get You, Estefan.
Indeed it is. And The Rhythm did get me over and over again.
And an NSYNC, wasn't there an NSYNC song in the credits or something? Yeah, didn't they sing Music of the Heart with Gloria Estefan? There was
an I almost said instinct. In NSYNC. My instinct is to say yes, that there was. Yeah, in fact, they sang the title song, Music of the Heart.
The Rhythm got them as well.
It sure did.
Yes. Well,
it sure did.
And this is Disney related because that was a Miramax film, and Disney distributed Miramax at the time.
Fair.
So it all comes back.
And Queen Angela Bassett was also in the movie. So there we go.
God, and we can never talk enough about Angela Bassett.
We can't. We really just talked for 45 minutes about a movie that has nothing to do with Disney, only because Angela Bassett's in it.
Right. But how are you, Patrick?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for asking.
Good,
Before we started recording, I was telling you a little bit, like, just as we all are busy right now. It's the time of the year for people to be busy. But I was just saying, like, I feel like I could handle it a lot better in my 20s and maybe early 30s. But now that I'm, pushing daisies here, I am. My brain is just is a box of just mashed potato mix that needs water. Maybe.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I told someone yesterday, they were like, how are you? And I was like, I know that I look like I've got it composed on the outside, but
yes.
I'm going to tell you that inside I'm a roiling, turmoiling hurricane.
Yes.
And he was like, what? Because you would never guess from the outside. You seem so calm and cool and collected, but I said, I assure you, underneath the surface, it is a hurricane.
I feel like you and I are cut from the same cloth in that we're of relatively the same age group, and we both have a theater background, and so the whole like never let them see you sweat kind of really comes into play for us. And
precisely.
Boy, is that unhealthy. It's a really unhealthy way to live, everybody.
Yeah, it really is. And also we both just turned 25 years old.
We sure did.
Yeah.
We sure did.
Yeah.
25 years ago, we did turn 25. Mm-hmm.
Well,
absolutely.
I mean, so we're both roiling hurricanes underneath.
Yes.
But, we'll try to keep this in the eye of the hurricane for our Tweedles today.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. We have a lot. We have a lot of Tweedles to celebrate, and we have a lot to talk about. So
we do have so much to talk about. Do you want to jump into some Tweedle feedback?
I would love nothing more than to jump into some Tweedle feedback. We had a lot of people with a lot of things to say this time around.
Let's do it.
I love it. Do you want me to start, or do you want to kick us off?
Why don't you kick us off, Patrick?
I would love nothing better than that. We have, first of all, an email from Drew, and second of all, Drew, I feel like you may have sent this a while ago, and I did not see it because we were having some email issues. So, Drew, now's your time. Now's your time, Drew. So, Drew says, okay, someone has to say it. This 4-person queer coven is pure fire emoji. The 4 of you gathering virtually around the cauldron to talk tea on Hocus Pocus 2 was just the hot mess I hoped it would be.
I feel seen.
Fair enough. Thank you so much, Drew. Drew goes on to say, as for Hocus Pocus 2, the sequel was a delight, and I was happy to be in the echo chamber with y'all. It was nice to see the Sanderson sisters again, and this time in a world that more closely resembles the diverse community we live in. Casting was on point, and I loved all of the new characters. I most certainly let out a big gay inhale the second I saw Hannah Waddingham. Is it Waddingham or Waddingham?
I think it's Waddingham. Waddingham
if you're nasty. Drew goes on to say, I did think, however, that it was interesting to hear slight digs on the writing. In my opinion, the writing deserved much better light. The fact that the writers had to take an original film that was notoriously badly written and translate it into a new film that captured that untidy vibe on purpose, while also making it better and more evolved was a feat. Okay, I see you, Drew.
Okay.
And one I think the writers executed flawlessly. No, the writing wasn't deep and the plot was thin at best, but had the writing or the plot been better, it would have stuck out like a sore thumb and misaligned with what Hocus Pocus is, a campy movie with high school production vibes that fans love because it is a campy movie with high school production vibes.
Come on, critique.
And that's on period, Drew. Drew caps us off by saying, all that said, this was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to an invite from whoever throws the double feature Halloween house party. Looking at you, Ryan. I know you want to. Thanks to all of you for another hilarious episode. You guys always make my day. Oh, and 100% agree with y'all on the King of Atlantis. Not more. Woof. Happy Halloween, Drew. Drew, thank you. That was epic.
Yes. Thank you, Drew. That was an epic email. And happy Halloween to you too.
Happy Halloween, Drew. Thank you.
Love that. Well, moving on, we have Mark. You can find Mark at Mark Runs Disney. I'm guessing he runs in the Run Disney events. Mark says, I'm sure this has been addressed, but in case not, Percy is a pug owner, and yes, he would need to stay in any redo of Pocahontas. Yes, I agree with you, Mark. Percy is a key player in that film. I mean, really central to the goings-on. I'm a Percy fan, and he deserves better than Governor John Radcliffe. Is it John Radcliffe? Governor Radcliffe.
I don't know. Yeah. Governor Radcliffe.
Governor Radcliffe.
Whatever,
yes, he
whatever his first name is.
He deserves a better home than that.
It's true. It's true. Mark, I believe, is also referencing when Kale and I falsely identified Percy as a French bulldog instead of a pug.
Ooh.
So thank you for your corrections, Mark. Thank you for your corrections.
Thank you for checking us there.
Yes, absolutely. And last but not least, we have Ross, who's writing to us from Instagram again at C_Ross22. Saying, glad to hear Kale had a great time on the Disney Wish. I have never particularly had the interest in taking a cruise, but the last show certainly made my interest go up. I became a Walt Disney World cast member in attractions earlier this year and had my first stay at a resort, the Coronado Springs, and was absolutely blown away. In 2021, I went to a park for the first time. In 2022, I became a cast member and stayed at a resort for the first time. And maybe 2023 will have a first Disney crew in store. I hope so, Ross. I hope so. Keep up the good work, guys. You're an absolute joy in my podcast feed. Side note, since this episode should be coming out the Sunday before Election Day, if you haven't already, please get out the vote. A lot is on the line, and it's up to all of us to protect what we hold so dear. Also, was neat to hear you name drop my other favorite podcast, Pod Save America, and their Vote Save America campaign. Ross, truer words. People, if you are in the United States and you are of voting age,
yes,
you must vote.
Go vote. And isn't everyone, like, if you're, isn't every workplace required to give a certain amount of time to people to go vote on Election Day?
I don't know if every workplace is required to. I know that where I work, I am lucky enough to have that as an option. And I imagine you are too, as you have just stated that as fact.
Yes, I believe it's 3. I believe there are I don't know if it's state by state or if it's by company or if it's a certain type of company. And I think it's 3 hours that you are allotted on work time to go vote. So check your company policy, check your state policy, make a plan to vote, bring friends with you to the polls, call up 3 of your friends and go to lunch and go vote on Tuesday.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Get out to the vote, everybody. Well, thank you to all of our tweetles who sent in that feedback. We love it. Keep it coming.
Keep it coming. Well, speaking of tweetles, Patrick, should we talk about some new Patreon members? Because we have some new Patreon members.
I mean, when I say we have some, we actually mean we have a lot of new Patreon members that have joined within the last 2 weeks. It's insanity.
Oh my goodness. We have so many.
Yeah, name them. Name them, JT.
I'm going to say their names. Say their name. Okay. We have Miriam joining us as a Patreon. We have Jason and John.
They come as a pair.
It's a package deal. We have, oh dear, here's another name that I'm going to mispronounce. Why do I always get these? I'm going to say Strachan or Striken or...
Ooh, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with Strachan. I'm obsessed with it. I actually don't know. I did reach out to you to ask how to pronounce your name, and you did not respond yet. So
I hope it's that
until further notice. Yeah.
Yes. If it's not that, my sincere apologies. But I do love Strachan, so please think of changing it if that's not it. We also have Irving. Love that name too, Irving. And we have Randy.
We do have Randy, who I believe, as of this recording, joined like hours ago. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you,
much.
Randy. And I do believe, wasn't Irving, I believe Irving was on our Halloween Patreon Zoom party.
Yes, indeed. That was so much fun. I had
so
a
much
blast.
fun.
For those who don't know, we had our very first Zoom Halloween party for our Patreon members only, very exclusive. It was nothing short of magical. I mean, we all got a little bit emotional meeting each other and just talking about the love that we all have for Disney and the community. It was such a good time. There will be more in the future, and anyone who is a Patreon is invited. In fact, you are only invited if you are a Patreon member.
So get in on that magic.
Get in on that magic immediately. Head on over to gazetothed.com, click on that donate button, and say it with me, everybody. For as little as $1 reoccurring a month, you too can become a Patreon member, where now we have even more things to throw at you, like Zoom parties, and we have more raw and uncut episodes coming out. We have exclusive giveaways. You're going to be flooded with too much GDTD content.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Locks of hair we're giving away.
Absolutely.
Everything you can think of, we're doing.
We're just going to show up at your homes and just like applaud you every once in a while as you go to work or come home from work. We'll
random points in the day. We won't even tell you. We'll just show up.
It's funny because it's true. It's happening, everybody.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you to our new Patreon members.
Thank you so much. And thank you to all of our reoccurring members who have been with us for a very long time.
Welcome. And happy trailers to you, Patrick. No, Patrick is not leaving Gaze to the D. But we do have 2 new trailers that have been released in the last week that I think we should talk about because they're important.
Yeah, I think we ought to. They're epic trailers.
Epic trailers. The first one is for Disenchanted, the sequel to long-awaited, much like Hocus Pocus 2, the long-awaited sequel to Enchanted. This is dropping on Disney Plus on November 18th, just in time for your Thanksgiving break. Patrick, what do we think? What were your thoughts as you were watching this trailer? What were your feelings? What were your emotions?
Disappointment. No, I'm just kidding. No, I actually
disappointed and disenchanted.
Yeah, exactly. No, well, listen, you know me. If history tells us anything, Patrick is always enthralled and enticed by a trailer. I am obsessed with them, and I always think that they're going to be exactly what the movie is. So I'm going to refrain from saying this is going to be a great movie. Who can say? Who can say? But I was definitely enticed by the trailer. It looked like it was holding true to like the, again, a love letter to Enchanted, right?
Yeah, it was like giving you more. It's sort of like Enchanted and giving you more. It seemed like more. it looks like it's maybe more story, more characters, you know. Of course, it was great to see Maya Rudolph in the trailer.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm excited. It's going to be a great movie to watch over Thanksgiving break. Well, I'll watch it before Thanksgiving, but it's going to be a great movie for families to gather around, like after they're stuffed with turkey and all those trimmings, and watch Disenchanted.
Yeah,
together.
I mean, well, here's hoping it's going to be a great one.
Do you think we're going to have some great new songs with Disenchanted?
It seemed like it. It seemed like they were just about to play you a snippet of a song, but then cut short right before that. So, I'm hoping that's what's going to happen, though.
The bar is high. Do we know if John McLaughlin is coming back to sing a ballad?
Oh, I cannot confirm that. I cannot confirm or deny it.
Okay. Well, we'll hold our breath for another couple weeks.
Yes,
well, speaking of holding our breath, a lot of actors had to hold their breath underwater for long periods of time for Avatar: The Way of Water, which is in theaters on December 16th. How is that for a segue?
I'm impressed and a little disappointed in you at the exact same time.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. That's how a lot of people feel about me when they meet me in real life.
Not true.
Impressed and let down.
No.
Patrick, what about Avatar: The Way of Water? This is, of course, the sequel to Avatar, which is the movie that still holds the record as the number one movie at the global box office. It's from 2009. I think this made like $2.6 billion at the box office globally. It was nominated for Best Picture, nominated for a lot of, and I think won a lot of technical Oscars. This is James Cameron's sort of like flagship enterprise right now. We, of course, have Pandora, the world of Avatar, which is an animal kingdom and is based on the original movie. So there's a lot riding on this sequel, because there are also there's a 3-quel and a 4-quel and a 5-quel planned after these. So what did you think of this trailer?
You know, it looks great. Obviously, I mean, I think that's the point of these movies. For me, that's the point of these movies. If this is a safe space,
always,
and I believe it is. Yeah, I am not the biggest fan of Avatar. I think I just don't necessarily care about it. It's not. For me, so far, the first movie was not a story we haven't seen before, if I'm being honest. Visually, it was a story we hadn't seen before, but just like on paper, I don't know, it didn't really blow my hair back. But I think I'm learning to not care about that so much, and just care about like these amazing technological advances are absolutely incredible, and I think that's the exciting part for me about this movie.
Yeah, I think it looks incredible, obviously. I mean, it looks amazing. I think I'm kind of with you. I was very ambivalent about Avatar when it came out. I saw it in the theater when it came out, and I was like, number one, this is a very long movie. And number two, I was just like, it's very pretty to look at, but I just don't really care about what's going on the screen. However, it's interesting. I love Pandora at Animal Kingdom, but I think you can really enjoy it without really caring about Avatar. I think this movie will get me excited to go back to Pandora after seeing it, and I'm interested. It's a great cast. Sam Worthington is back. Sigourney Weaver is back. Correct?
Yes. I don't know what she's doing in the movie, but she is in the cast. So there we go.
Zoe Saldana and Kate Winslet is added to this cast, and I love Kate Winslet.
Yeah. Same.
So, this is the second waterlogged movie that she has done with James Cameron.
Fair.
So she came back. Obviously, there was something there to entice her to come back and go through something like this again.
The money. I'm going to say it's the money.
It's probably the money. Yeah. But yeah, so I think you and I are in the same boat when it comes to Avatar. But I know, Patrick, that we will both, on December 16th, we will Siva Ko, rise to the challenge.
God bless you. Really, you're a treasure.
And we will make our own flights of passage to the multiplex.
We will.
To see what this is all about.
We will indeed. And I am certain that we will have a spoiler-free review for all of you Tweedles out there shortly after it's released.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know how to move out of that, but we're going to move out of that entirely. And we're going to talk about a little bit of change, Patrick, in the nonprofit that benefits from our merch sales.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, here's a segue for you. Try this one on for size.
Okay.
So Avatar is going to make $1 million, billion, gajillion dollars globally again, but there are many companies out there that need our financial help instead. So if you want to, throw your dollars their way instead this holiday season. But you're right. Yes, we do have a new nonprofit to talk about. We were donating all of our proceeds from our merch sales to Equality Florida. They still need your help. So get out there and help Equality Florida. They have a lot of work on their hands right now, as we all know. And they may have some work ahead of them after these elections. Who can say? That being said, we are switching our dollars to go to a company that has been near and dear to our hearts for a while, but we haven't given them enough love. But one of our Tweedles, two of our Tweedles actually, Nick and Dave from Canada, brought this to our attention recently, and we thought this is the perfect time to make the switch over. So from now through February 22nd, all of the proceeds, that's right, 100% of the proceeds from our merch sales will be donated to a nonprofit called Dreams Take Flight. So, as I said, Dreams Take Flight came to us through our Canadian Tweedles, Nick and Dave. Hello, boys. We love you.
Hello.
Who also happen to be volunteers with Dreams Take Flight's Ottawa chapter, which is where we will specifically be donating our dollars to, Dreams Take Flight, Ottawa.
And Patrick, that's proceeds through February of 2023, correct?
Oh, did I say 2022? I meant 2023. Yes.
Well, you actually said February 22nd, and I was like, that's a very specific date. Why don't we just go through the rest of February?
I'm all over the map, everybody. Don't listen to me. Listen to JT. Yes, now through February 2023.
So a little bit of background on Dreams Take Flight for you, Patrick. In 1989, several Air Canada employees in Toronto planned a trip of a lifetime. They held bake sales to raise the thousands of dollars needed for this first Dreams Take Flight trip. Many cupcakes, cookies, and healthy ingredients later, they flew 70 special needs children on a DC-9 aircraft to Walt Disney World in Florida. How amazing is that? This trip changed these children's lives. For the first time, they understood that possibilities exist. And where better to understand that for the first time than the most magical place on earth. That's possibility without limitation. By 1997, the Dreams Take Flight charity had expanded across Canada to 8 cities: Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal, and Halifax. And the trajectory continues. Once a year, each chapter replicates the inaugural 1989 flight. For a very long and exciting day, deserving children have an adventure in a world-renowned theme park in California or Florida, all expenses paid, thanks to sponsors and volunteers and merch buyers like you. These children aren't accustomed to mind-stretching ideas. They have challenges that might be medical, mental, physical, social, or emotional. Air Canada donates the planes. Volunteers raise money throughout the year. Donors give to cover all the expenses. That's aircraft fuel, park admission, spending money, plus cash for souvenirs and gifts. Each child and their escort are clad in signature clothing to set them apart in the park. Patrick, how can our Tweedles support this amazing, incredible initiative?
Well, so glad you asked, JT. So glad you asked. And yes, it is an amazing initiative. Every time Nick and Dave talk to me about it, when they volunteer, it just brings such joy to my heart knowing that there are so many people out there who want to give these children who otherwise would never ever even dare to dream to have a moment like this in their lives. And now it's being brought to them to just make them realize that there is a world beyond this world of no that they're so used to hearing. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Yeah. It's such a great opportunity for them to, like, you know, just like, I mean, and there's really no comparison, but just like, you know, we always say when you're in Disney World, it's like you can kind of forget about the real world for a little bit. And this is an opportunity for these kids to be able to experience and focus on something else besides, any kind of limitation they might have, right?
Yeah, absolutely. To live a day of yes and would be
absolutely
incredible for them. So if you do want to help us support this amazing charity, just head on over to gazetothed.com and click on the merch tab. There, you'll be able to read just a little bit more about this amazing charity, but you'll also be able to click into our TeePublic shop. And again, 100% of our proceeds from your purchase will be given directly to Dreams Take Flight. Or if you want to donate directly to them and you've said, you know what, I have enough GDTD merch in my life, and who among us maybe doesn't have enough GDTD merch? You can go on over to YOW, that's the letter Y as in yak, I guess, OW.dreamstakeflight.ca. That will take you directly to their website where they'll have all the information you've ever wanted to know about this organization, and they have an easy-to-click donation link right there for you. So again, thank you to Nick and Dave for bringing this amazing organization to our lives. We are so excited to help them out. Just even a little bit is going to help out tremendously, as you all know. That's how charities work, right? So give it a go, everybody. Just at least go and learn more about it and spread the word. And if you want to, buy some gifts this holiday season and know that it is all going to a good cause.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nick and Dave. And just like you said, Patrick, the holidays are coming and shopping is upon us. So,
sure
I mean,
is.
everyone in your life could use some GDTD merch, right?
This is very true. This is very true. And this is also actually a good segue, don't you think, since the holidays are upon us?
You are picking up what I'm throwing down.
Oh, you threw it right at me. I caught it. And here we go. Here we go. Everybody, hold on to your butts because it's time once again.
Can you say that like Samuel L. Jackson does in Jurassic Park?
I can't. No one can. No one can.
Hold
I will
on
not
to
attempt.
your butts.
Oh, okay, there you go. You will attempt apparently.
No,
I will not.
Okay.
It is time once again for the GDTD Thanksgiving a Thanks giveaway.
This is a giveaway and thanks to our amazing friends over at Lux Illume. Some of our Patreon members that had the privilege of meeting Nicole, the founder of Lux Illume, at our October Zoom party, know what a delightful person Nicole is. And if you have ordered any of her candles, you know what delightful candles she makes.
Oh my gosh, they are, I don't say this lightly, they are my favorite scented candles around. They're the best in my opinion, and I promise you they are not paying us to say this. We just truly believe in them, and we truly believe in their products.
I have 3 literally burning right now to summon the spirits of good podcast juju.
Ooh, I love it.
Right?
Good
so,
for you.
yeah. Lux Illume is beyond just making candles. They are an amazing company. Their mission, and this is straight from Nicole, here at Lux Illume, I am passionate about 2 things: candles and serving others. I believe in capturing magical memories and meaningful moments like fireflies in a jar. I am passionate about illuminating the beauty of life and spreading hope and love to all. I believe in being kind and intentional with what we do. I believe it is time to step away from the cold and impersonal mass market. You are more than an invoice number. I love the beautiful light candles give, the amazing scents they diffuse, and the atmosphere they create. No matter how dark the night, just one candle flame can change everything. That same light is a symbol for the hope and inspiration that comes from giving. I trust in the power of a good deed and paying it forward. I believe in love and light. Nicole, that is beautifully said. You are love and light, and I know that firsthand from meeting you virtually, at least over Zoom. So thank you for that mission and living out that mission in what you do and the products that you make. And how you are making a positive impact in your own world and in the world of others.
I love that.
It's beautiful. So the name of her company is perfect. Lux Illume. She's illuminating the dark areas in people's lives and helping us to do that as well. These candles are made with GMO-free vegan soy wax, which is fully sustainable. Their goal is to make their candles as eco-friendly as possible. Nicole is literally walking the walk and not just talking the talk here. The wicks are cotton braided. They're lead and metal free, and they don't keep large quantities on hand in a massive warehouse. These candles are handcrafted. Once you place your order, they're shipped within 14 days. Again, we are not, they're not paying us to say this. We genuinely love the candles. Patrick, why are we talking about Luxillume today?
Well, as we said, we do have our annual now Thanksgiving thanks giveaway, and Nicole and all of the amazing employees at Luxillume have generously donated a 10-pack of their brand new holiday Disney scented candles. So one lucky winner from our Instagram campaign is going to win a 10 pack of candles. And so, not to be outdone by that, Nicole, we have your number. We are also going to give away from GDTD a 10-pack of candles to one of our Patreon members. They are already entered to win. Patreon family members, you have to do nothing. We got you. One of you is going to win a 10-pack as well. I'll tell you what, these candles are absolutely incredible. So Luxillume has a whole collection of candles, if you don't know about them yet, but they specifically have a section, a Disney-inspired scented candle section called Circa 1955, and it is absolutely incredible. Yeah, they're amazing. So the 10 packs that are being given away include the following scents: an Arendelle Christmas, Jolly Peppermint Mocha, Very Merry Christmas, Christmas in Hawaii,
Melikilikimaka,
Jack's Gingerbread House, Main Street Candy Canes, Small World Cinnamon, Golden Oak Cider, Grand Cranberry Scones, which I can attest is the best scent in the entire world. And then capping it all off is one called Snowfall on Main Street.
Let me go get my Mariah Carey shirt right now and put it on, because I am both hungry and filled with holiday spirit after just hearing you spout off those names.
They're awesome. I have to ask her someday about how they come up with the names, because they're really fun, and they are very descriptive actually of what the candle is gonna. It's gonna smell exactly what you think it's gonna smell like. So JT, tell our Tweedles how they can be the winner of this 10-pack of candles.
Here's what you got to do. Head on over to Instagram. That's at GDTD Podcast. And if you're not already following us, follow us. Like the post featuring our Thanksgiving thanks giveaway, and comment by tagging 3 of your Disney loving friends, and you're entered to win. Now, if you want to obtain a second entry, you can repost our post and tag us at GDTD Podcast, or add it to your stories and tag us. All entries will be accepted up until 6 p.m. on November 17th. And as per usual, our amazing Patreon family members are all automatically entered into their very own separate drawing for another 10-pack of these candles. Winners will be contacted via Instagram shortly after that to get their mailing info, and their names will be announced on our Monday, November 21st episode.
It's just that easy.
And just, Patrick, we should probably say this giveaway is in no way affiliated with or sponsored by Disney or Instagram.
Don't come for us.
Don't come for us.
Don't come
please.
for us.
Pretty please.
I love it. I love it.
But, Patrick, there's more.
There is
Yes.
more. This is very exciting.
This is very exciting.
This.
Yes. If you don't happen to win one of the prize packs, because there's only going to be 2, so chances are, there's going to be some people who don't win the prize packs, right? Let's be real. But fear not, because the team at Luxillume, the amazing team at Luxillume, have given all of our listeners an amazing deal. Going forward, just for our Tweedles, you can get 15% off your order using the offer code GDTD15. Can confirm that you don't have to use uppercase letters. It's lowercase works as well. So head over to Luxillume.com and buy all the things. I mean, Patrick, we have our own promo code.
We've arrived.
That's it.
JT.
That's it. We've pulled into the station. We're here.
Yeah, we really have. Yeah, like you said, head on over to Luxillume. That's LUXILLUME.com and purchase wildly. Purchase with abandon, because here's something else that I forgot to mention. I forgot to put it in the show notes, but I think I talked to you about it, JT. So Nicole has also said that with that 15% off, she is going to take the the 15% that would have been spent on the candles, and she's going to apply that to Dreams Take Flight. So they're going to be donating the 15% on over to Dreams Take Flight.
I mean, Nicole, we get it. You're a hero. We get it. Seriously, thank you, Nicole, to you and your team. That's very generous.
Yeah.
And it's going to make a huge difference in the lives of a lot of kids. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And speaking of making a difference to the lives of children, I think we have some This Week in Disney history to talk about, JT.
Do we really?
We do. We'll keep it short and sweet, I promise you, because we're already like 45 days into recording here.
Of course.
So but these ones are pretty fun that I really wanted to get them out there because I think that they'll be up your alley, JT, actually. Starting off with a birthday, as per usual, 150 years ago on November 7th, 1872.
I was born.
That's right. Yeah, a peer of yours. Stage and screen actress Lucille Laverne was born in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, Laverne had an expansive career on Broadway and in film, but her most famous role, and also, interestingly, her very last role, was in a little movie called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. That's right, she played the evil queen.
How about that?
How about that indeed? I did not know that was her very last film role, was the evil queen.
Amazing. And the evil queen does have a name, doesn't she? Isn't it like it's a German name?
Yeah, so I believe it's from Grimm fairy tales, and I think it's like Grimhilda or something.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah.
And some people say that that's her name, but I don't know. I think that she's just called the Queen in the credits.
Okay, the Queen. Well, and I mean, Lucille is a queen for voicing her as well. A Nashville queen, no less. Thank you,
A Nashville queen, known here on this podcast as Evil Queen Rebecca.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We've named her. We've named her. So moving on, a little less than 150 years, in fact, just 23 years ago, on also, though, November 7th, 1999, The Wonderful World of Disney aired their remake of the musical Annie, directed by Rob Marshall and starring Kathy Bates as Miss Hannigan, Audra McDonald as Grace, Victor Garber as Oliver Warbucks, Alan Cumming as Rooster, and Kristen Chenoweth as Lily St. Regis. I mean, an amazing cast.
Truly, like, icons all around.
Legends
only.
I did not know this, but Sarah Hyland from Modern Family was also in the movie. She played Molly.
Okay, I did not know that. Who was Annie in that? Who was Annie? Is she?
She was. It was her first thing she'd ever done. Her name was Alicia Morton, and she didn't do much after that, unfortunately. Okay. Yeah, sorry about it. Sorry about it. Alicia. But fun fact: if you're a Broadway nerd like we are, the woman who played the star to be in the NYC number was Broadway's original Annie, Andrea McArdle.
Oh, what a great little callback.
Oh, I loved it.
Right?
It's just such a fun, just a little wink to anyone who knows. If it's one of those, if you know, you know.
Mm-hmm. Those live, well, I say live action, or she's saying live action remake. The remakes of some of the musicals they did on Wonderful World of Disney are so wonderful. Annie is one of them. The Music Man, which also starred Kristen Chenoweth, is another one.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they should do more of those.
Cinderella with Whitney Houston and Brandy.
Yes. Well,
so good times. I thought that was a little fun. This week in Disney history for everybody.
A great week in Disney history. Well, let's talk about things that are happening today that will one day be history.
I think the longest intro ever into Gaze to the D will be in Disney history 1 year from now.
Correct.
Let's report on that next.
Joe Locke, who made his scripted television debut in the Netflix series Heartstopper, starring as Charlie, a gay teenager who falls in love with his classmate, has been tapped to co-star in Agatha Coven of Chaos. That's the upcoming WandaVision spinoff coming to Disney+. He will join Eighth Wonder of the World, Kathryn Hahn, who is reprising her role as Agatha Harkness. Emma Caulfield Ford of Buffy the Vampire Slayer fame will also reprise her role of Dottie from WandaVision. Plot details details, like all Marvel projects remain a secret. This was such exciting news to me because I love Heartstopper, and I just love Joe Locke's performance in that series. And I was so excited to see him get cast in this. I was talking to a friend the other day. We were wondering if he's going to get cast as Billy.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, maybe. I really enjoy him. He's such an interesting performer, right? He's very unique and, dare I say, awkward in such a delicious way, though. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I just love it. He just is his own person. And I love seeing, I don't often say this about, but in photo shoots, like his style is incredible. He just feels comfortable in his own skin. I don't know. I can't say enough about him. I'm excited to see what happens with this character, or who this character even is.
Me too. And I mean, gosh, the opportunity to be in a series with Catherine Hahn, I don't know what else he wants in life besides that.
I mean, stop complaining, Joe Locke.
Seriously,
come on. This winter, Tokyo Disney plans to unveil the first installment of theme park attraction add-ons in what they are calling Disney Story Beyond. Now, what is Disney Story Beyond? Super great question. So I did some digging and came up with almost no answers for you. This is the news, everyone. Other than, according to the Tokyo Disney website, quote, every area and attraction at Tokyo Disney Resort has a story to tell, set in various countries and time periods with diverse characters. Disney Story Beyond takes you to a new world beyond those stories. Cool.
Sounds vague.
Sounds super vague, super fun, maybe, but WTF is any of this? So, again, this is the news. So here's what we also know. The first attraction to get a Disney Story Beyond treatment in Tokyo Disney will be the Haunted Mansion. So again, to quote from Tokyo Disney website, we're such good reporters.
Only the facts, folks.
Yeah, that's right. This time, the setting is the Haunted Mansion where 999 happy haunts live. In the library of the mansion, there is a book that has been passed down from generation to generation. The book contains the records of all the ghosts and has been recorded over the years by those who work at the mansion. What is about to begin is a story of the ghosts recorded in this book. So, the images accompanying this little tidbit of information are the silhouettes of the attic bride, the hitchhiking ghosts, the tightrope walker, and 2 of the ballroom dancers. Beyond that, very little else is known other than this is set to be unveiled in January of 2023, which would coincide with the timing for when Tokyo Disney usually closes the Haunted Mansion for a few days to remove the holiday overlay and to do a few refurbs. So the timing does make sense that they may add something to the attraction itself. JT, I ask of you, what on Goddess's Earth is this going to be?
Well, now that I have the full picture, it sounds like it's a story about a guest book.
Fair enough. A ghost's guest book.
A ghost guest book. Like those books that are at Airbnbs where you can,
love it.
Write, Lou had a wonderful time. We'll be sure to be back next year.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, had such a good time. Really wish I hadn't died here.
Yeah,
that would have been. That's a bummer.
Yeah, bummed that we had to take the trash out twice during our stay.
I like this. Yeah, I had to talk about this because I'm so fascinated about what on earth this might be. I'm hoping so much with all of my hopes that this isn't just going to be like a little plaque that they put up in the queue that has a information, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like a pamphlet. But I hope this is going to be something actually really cool,
Well, they gave us so many details. My head is swimming with the possibilities.
Well, I think rightfully so, that's Disney's MO lately, to be like, we're not going to tell you much because if we don't do it, we don't want you to come for us. So
Well, speaking of chaos magic, Walt Disney Imagineering has shared new construction photos and confirms Communicore and Journey of Water opening dates. Imagine how tired we must be. Disney fans have been pacing in front of the Walt Disney Imagineering gates in Glendale, arms outstretched, holding open our empty Starbucks emotional support water cups with cries of, "Please, sir, may I have some more?" And Imagineers have sprinkled a few drops of life our way. Last week on Instagram, Imagineering shared a few construction photos from the in-progress World Nature and World Celebration neighborhoods of Epcot, which were announced last decade at the D23 Expo. Again, imagine how tired we must be. In addition to the photos, they confirmed an opening timeline for the new Communicore Plaza, Communicore Hall, and Journey of Water inspired by Moana. And while they confirmed, Patrick, that the new areas will open to guests in late 2023, I'm not sure we know how far this timeline will go.
Heyo.
Once the central area of Epcot reopens, revelers can once more get from the main entrance to the festival booths in a straight line. Whether we can walk that straight line at the end of the evening remains to be seen.
It is Epcot after all.
It is Epcot after all. I just feel like we've been hearing about these neighborhoods since time immemorial. We have been through a pandemic. We have been through 2 elections. We have been through so much as a people, as a community, as a world, since these were first announced.
Oh, enough is enough, Disney. Just give it to us.
We are tired.
Yes. We've given you our weary. We've given you our poor. Now it's time to give us some Moana water.
Yes, please. Hey, Patrick, you know what we haven't done in a while on Gaze to the D?
Drugs. Hardcore drugs.
Yeah, that too. And while we do the hardcore drugs,
Yes.
do you want to do a Fab Five?
I would love to do. It's been forever since we've done a Fab Five.
And we've never done one with me.
Oh, that's true. It's been literally forever since we've done one with you.
The time has come.
It is time, everybody. It is time. I'm very excited about this. And you, I have to say, have chosen a very good topic. I know it's something that is dear to your heart. So reveal to our tweetles, won't you, JT, what our topic of Fab 5 is this time around?
Well, it's our Fab Five hardcore drugs. You gave it away.
Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs.
No, it's not a hardcore drug, but you know what? It is. It does give you some of that same euphoric high.
I love
that is music, Patrick.
That's right.
That's music.
That's right.
You and I are both passionate about music. We are musical people. I know many of our tweetles are music people.
Yeah.
We love our music. So we thought it would be fun to do a Fab Five today on our favorite Disney soundtracks and or albums.
I love this. We've done music before for Fab Fives. We've done, I believe, like love songs and inspirational songs. But this time, we're just gonna go for it. And what's the actual album that you love?
The one that gets you through the road trip. The one that gets you through the last 5 minutes on the treadmill or the bike.
Oh my gosh, you are speaking my language.
The one that gets you through the last 5 minutes of your strength training. Like, what is it on your hot girl walks that you're doing in the neighborhood? What are you listening to besides us?
Yeah.
What are you listening? What's in your ears?
That's right. What do you put on when you don't want to listen to your spouse or your parent or your sibling talk anymore, and you got to put on some music? What are you putting on?
What are you flipping on the turntable?
I love it.
What is it? What is it? So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yes. I have to tell you, this was, as per usual, I say this every single time, but this one particularly, I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many. There are so many soundtracks, so many albums, so many amazing musical feats that Disney has given us over the years.
Yeah.
It was hard to pare it down to 5.
It was. It's very challenging. Very challenging. I mean, this is the cream of the crop. Right.
Ooh, I mean, for now, anyways. I always say like this today. Is it. No, this is literally like where my life is right now. These are my Fab 5.
This is the November 7th, 2022.
Yes. Yes. These are my midnights right now. These are.
Oh, thank you for that, Patrick.
You're so welcome. I don't know anything about Taylor Swift, but I know that.
You know what's interesting, and I'm going to get off on a quick Taylor Swift tangent here, and I
Great.
apologize, but because I am in my midnights era. But you know what I was thinking about? Because I'm always thinking, how can I tie anything in my life back to Disney? And I was thinking, like, what Taylor Swift, because there are now 10 Taylor Swift albums.
Yeah.
What Taylor Swift album could you align with a specific Disney princess?
Oh,
Like, what would
interesting.
be the Disney princess alignment with the Taylor Swift albums? Think about that.
Well, I have to tell you, this is not my assignment because I know virtually none of the words that came out of your mouth moments ago when you're talking about Taylor Swift albums. But I'm sure our Tweedles out there have some ideas. So yeah. send them our way.
Yeah, I'm curious. Curiouser and curiouser.
And then send us a rendering of that princess as Taylor Swift, or Taylor Swift as that princess.
In that era.
Yeah. Into it. Okay.
Oh, that's good. Okay, anyway. But yes, this was very difficult to pare down.
Yeah.
But I think we've done it. And Patrick, you and I have not shared our choices. So I am super excited to hear what yours are.
Yeah. Likewise. I know that I have done 5. I don't know if they're the correct 5, but they are my truths right now, as I've said.
And we should all live our truths.
We should all live our truths. And I should say a lot of our Tweedles have sent in their favorite albums as well. So we will talk about those after we've told you what they should have been.
Right.
Yes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
We'll show you how it's done, and then we'll review your work.
Yes. Well, JT, this is your first Fab Five, so I would love to give you the honor of deciding. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Oh my goodness. We've just been talking about Thanksgiving, and I want to give you that pole position. I want you to go first.
Love it. I love that you said the pole position because it's both arousing and topical at the same time. So
why I'll say it.
Here we are on Gaze to the D. All right, so my number 5 album, and this is a tough one. People are going to come for me for putting it only at number 5, but I selected 2016's Moana.
Ooh, interesting choice. Elaborate, unpack that, please.
Thank you so much. So, first of all, music and lyrics, of course, by Lin-Manuel Miranda, but not just by Lin-Manuel Miranda, as most people want to think, but also a lot of the songs and most of the lyrics that are more of the native language that you hear in the Polynesian islands are by, I'm going to butcher this person's name. It's Opataya Fawai, I believe. And so Fawai is specifically responsible for that opening chanting portion of We Know the Way, which is, I think, one of the best parts of the song. It's really beautiful and sets the tone for it. Just incredible music. But the whole soundtrack is just a jam for me. I think it's such beautiful music. The songs are so different as well, but they all have that through line of the water coming through. How Far I'll Go, of course, is an opus, I would say, when it comes to Disney. And I really actually celebrate the song Shiny from the movie. I think that song is so clever, and the lyrics are so intricate and clever, and just, I love it. I really love that song. So yeah, Moana for me is from top to bottom. All of the instrumentals, even on the album / soundtrack itself, are really beautiful. If you haven't done it, listen to the full album because it's a real collection of music, I would say.
I think that's a great choice, and I'm so glad you called it that song specifically because I do feel like it gets a little swept under the rug when you think about You're Welcome and How Far I'll Go. But it's a great song, and yeah, I mean, I think How Far I'll Go is one of the all-time Disney anthems, right?
It's so good. So good. Yeah.
Great choice, Patrick.
Thank you so much. So what about you? What is your number 5 album?
So my number 5 is also going to send shockwaves through the Tweedledum.
Uh-oh.
A controversial choice, but it is the soundtrack to Pocahontas from 1995. Music by Alan Menken, lyrics by Stephen Schwartz. I know we've talked about Pocahontas a little bit on this podcast before and how absolutely unhistorically accurate it is and even problematic in spots.
Yeah.
And just, a little bit of a failure of a movie in a lot of respects. However, I think one aspect that it does not fail in is in the music. I think it has, the music for me, even not just the songs, but the score music that Alan Menken composed for the film. It's just got some absolute bangers. I mean, Just Around the River Bend.
Yeah.
Colors of the Wind. You know, the cut song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, If I Never Knew You, which was supposed to be the historically inaccurate love duet between Captain John Smith and Pocahontas. It's a beautiful song. It's on the soundtrack as the pop version, which was recorded by, if you were old enough to remember, John Cicada, who, funny enough, called back to Gloria Estefan from earlier in the episode.
There we go.
John Cicada used to sing background vocals for Gloria Estefan, and before he had his solo career, and also that duet was Shanice from the early '90s. She was a big R&B artist back then. It's just a beautiful love song. I love the score music in it. I think it's so pretty. And Judy Kuhn as the singing voice of Pocahontas in the film. You had Vanessa Williams doing the pop version of Colors of the Wind. Yeah. I just adore the music from Pocahontas.
It's a really good collection of music. You know, this category is so interesting, the soundtracks, because I took a step back and thought, what are the actual like full collections that I like? What are some that there isn't a downer in the bunch, if you will? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you know, I would agree with you. I think Pocahontas is an excellent choice. I would venture to say the soundtrack wishes it wasn't part of this movie, but part of something else. So I think, you know, there are moments in life where it's like you just can't separate the two. They are intrinsically entwined, and so they're both canceled. But this is a case for me, anyways, that I think you can absolutely celebrate the music because it is so beautiful and so thoughtful.
And can I give a little tip to our Tweedles? If you go on, I know it's on Spotify, I'm sure it's on Apple Music too. If you're familiar with the Legacy Collection albums that Disney has been releasing over the last several years, that includes like cut songs, demo recordings, there is one for Pocahontas. Which has some cut music and has a lot of like demo. So if you enjoy the Pocahontas music, check out that Legacy Collection version.
I like that
edition.
I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Patrick, what's in your fourth slot?
My fourth slot will be the soundtrack to the movie, the very recent movie, the 2020 movie Soul, actually. Ooh. So this is an interesting one for me because Soul, really not a musical. Right? It is about a musician, and there's lots of music in it, but I wouldn't classify it as a musical. However, the soundtrack, if you've not sat down and listened to the soundtrack, it is a masterclass on jazz music and sort of new wavy music by Jon Batiste and Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Their collective juxtaposed ways of making music put together on a soundtrack, listening to it from top to bottom is so good and so soothing almost, and zen a little bit. It's absolutely beautiful. Jon Batiste specifically is, I would go so far as to say, a musical genius and can do no wrong in my eyes. So wonderful. I just really celebrate this soundtrack. If you listened to our sort of review of Soul back when it came out in I guess we did it in 2021 because it came out at the end of 2020. I loved the movie. I really did. I really liked it. Is it my favorite movie in the world? It isn't, but I appreciated it mostly because of the music. And so that's why I think this soundtrack made my top 5, and not just in the 5 slot, in the 4 slot.
I could not agree with you more. I kind of felt the same way about I felt the same way that you do about Soul, but the music is incredible, and the juxtaposition of the jazz music with the more sort of ethereal compositions that Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross specifically worked on, really like colored those worlds, those two different worlds, like so well, and but they also work together really well. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, they complemented each other really. They Salt and Pepper really. It was just a beautiful combination.
There's some gorgeous stuff on that soundtrack. One of my favorite instrumental pieces of Disney music ever is the Epiphany track on the soundtrack. You can put that on and just, like you said, like zen out, right?
Yeah, it's something I put on when I'm like cleaning the house or just doing something mundane that I want to sort of color in a little bit. I'll put on this soundtrack.
When you want to lower the blood pressure level.
Yeah, fair. Although jazz doesn't always do that. Jazz can sometimes put you in a place you're like, what? A little frenetic, but in a wonderful way. It's so good. So anyways,
true.
yeah, that's my number 4.
All right.
So moving on to your number 4, JT, let the children know.
Well, we're going from screen to stage.
Oh.
Because my number 4 is the Lion King original Broadway cast recording from 1997. Of course, it has the music and lyrics from Elton John and Tim Rice that were in the animated film from 1994. There are also additional songs by Elton John and Tim Rice. But the thing that I really love about this particular cast recording even more are the additional songs and music that were contributed by Lebo M, Mark Mancina, Jay Rifkin, Julie Taymor, and also using some of that Hans Zimmer score music to create new songs.
Yes.
This, I love Disney on Broadway. We've talked about Broadway on this podcast before. We're all kind of like theater nerds, but this is probably my favorite of all the Disney on Broadway cast recordings because the music is so rich. And, I especially like those Lebo M contributions with the Grassland Chant and the Lioness Hunt add so much to the story. Yeah. And, taking some of Hans Zimmer's score music and creating the song Shadowlands and then having Heather Headley sing this incredible, because you had the Hans Zimmer music, you've got the Lebo M and Mark Mancina, collaborating on that together.
Yeah.
And Heather Headley singing Shadowlands is just one of the greatest things ever.
Yeah.
And the song Endless Night, that's a Julie Taymor, Lebo M, Jay Rifkin song where they're taking some of Hans Zimmer's underscore from the film and creating this beautiful song for Simba in Act 2 that really fleshes out his story and his relationship with his father. And then at the end, when you've got that He Lives in You reprise, that just always never fails to literally make me levitate out of my chair and like send me into orbit.
Yeah.
It's just so good, right?
It really is. Fun fact, we both now own the very first release of the vinyl record of the Broadway cast recording.
Yes, thank you. Thanks to Patrick for being my eyes and ears and feet inside the Anaheim Convention Center.
That's right. Thank you, D23 and the Disney Music Emporium. But yeah, so here's what I would say about this a great choice. People are going to come for me. The Broadway version of The Lion King, the stage version, groundbreaking. I cannot deny that. Do I love it? I do not.
Ooh, that's
However, However, I do love the music. I think I love the music in this better than I do the animated movie, just because of what all you just said, all of the different arrangements and the authenticity that they brought into this. You feel it in your bones when these people are singing, not just singing, they are just performing for the gods, really, in some of these, in the group numbers specifically, though. A lot of the I Just Can't Wait to Be King. Yeah, it's great. But with the chorus coming in, the choir coming in, so good.
Yeah, it's a wonderful cast recording. It's so good.
Yeah, love it. Great choice.
Thank you. What is your number 3, Patrick?
Number 3, moving on. I am going to say the word Frozen, but I'm going to put the word 2 after it. Frozen 2 is
so glad you did that.
is my number 3 choice. That's right, 2019's Frozen 2. Music and lyrics, again, by Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez, who did the first Frozen, came back and did Frozen 2, and I think not only just hit the ball out of the park with this entire soundtrack from beginning to end, but like destroyed the ballpark with it. It is it is so good. It is absolutely the next chapter of Frozen musically. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Of course.
It's just sort of like the college years of the Frozen cast, where it's a little bit angsty. It's a little bit too big for its britches sometimes in a really good way. It's a beautiful soundtrack of these characters coming of age, really, in a time of turmoil, and there's just so much you can grab onto with the lyrics and all of the orchestrations that are coming with it. It is, in my opinion, really a perfect soundtrack from beginning to end. And strangely, as time goes on, one song that I didn't love the first time around, I'm now completely in love with, and that's Lost in the Woods. I think it is such a good song. It's so great. I always knew it was funny, but I didn't know like how actually genius it is until like the third or fourth listening of it. It is so musically intricate and difficult and spot on for what it's trying to do. It's a beautiful, wonderful song. Give it another listen if you are in my camp and didn't like it the first time. I think it's going to grow on you.
I love that choice, and I love your description of it as saved by the Arendelle, the college years.
Yes, 100% that.
Because that is so true, because there's a maturity to the music that really correlates with the growth of the characters from the first movie to the second. And I mean, I'm sorry, but if you put Let It Go and Show Yourself to me on a table next to each other, I don't even have to think about it. I won't blink. I will grab Show Yourself and run out of the room, because Show Yourself is just, I remember sitting in the theater the first time I saw Frozen 2, and you know, there was the song at the beginning. What's the other big song? The title is eluding me. Elsa's
Into the Unknown.
Into the Unknown.
Yeah.
I mean, Into the Unknown is a total banger, but when I was like, y'all were saving this Show Yourself for Act 2, the 11 o'clock number. I was like, y'all were saving this. Y'all were holding this down. Show Yourself to me still has not gotten the love that it deserves.
You know, it is, though. It's because, like you just said, it's the 11 o'clock number, right? It's the one that you didn't expect. And you're like, wait, where did this come from? I was already impressed. I didn't need this. And then it comes out and you're like, I will show myself. Thank you so much. This is so good. It's just, it's a beautiful song. It's, in my opinion, a gay anthem as well. It is.
Absolutely.
It's so wonderful. So wonderful. And also, I will say, speaking of Into the Unknown, on the soundtrack, Panic at the Disco, one of my very favorite bands, their version of Into the Unknown is unstoppable. It's so good.
And isn't Brandon Urie singing in the original key?
It's all him. Like, he is unedited. He is singing it as written, I believe. He might even be singing it like a half a step higher than it was written. Like, he's incredible.
Truly amazing.
Yeah. So there we go. My number 3, which, I mean, that's in my opinion, if I do say so myself, a heavy hitter for a number 3.
That is a heavy hitter. I got a heavy hitter for you too.
I'm ready. Hit me with it.
Okay. It is The Hunchback of Notre Dame, but it is not the 1996 animated film soundtrack.
Interesting.
It is the 2016 studio cast recording. So for those of you who are not aware, there is a stage version of The Hunchback of Notre Dame that did have a run at, I believe it was the Paper Mill Playhouse, and it was I believe it was very cost prohibitive to bring to Broadway, because there is like a full choir on stage. But you can listen to this. It's available on streaming. This studio cast recording, truly, every time I listen to it, absolutely blows my mind. It is so, I mean, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the film, is so big and epic. It was almost too big for an animated film. Like, it was almost too much, right?
Yeah.
And the studio cast recording really captures the spirit of the music and the story. It is very big and grand, and with the choir, and it also includes some songs that were cut from the film, including a gorgeous song, maybe my favorite song in the entire score, which is called In a Place of Miracles, which is a duet between Phoebus and Esmeralda, I believe. And then it also includes the cut song Someday, which was originally meant for the film, but only showed up in the end credits, the pop version sung by All for One. And you get to hear that within its original context in the story. But then it's got everything that you're used to out there, Hellfire, Topsy Turvy, all these incredible songs. And the cast is truly phenomenal. Patrick Page, who has been playing Hades in Hadestown on Broadway, is Frollo. Michael Arden is just an absolutely insanely amazing Quasimodo in this. It is such a gorgeous, grand, like epic recording. If you only know the music from The Hunchback of Notre Dame from the animated film, give this studio cast recording a whirl.
That's such a great choice. And to be clear, the Disney animated version of the soundtrack is wonderful.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Also,
yes, it's beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
It's almost like, is this a Disney movie? I had no idea. When you listen to the soundtrack. But yeah, you're right. This specific soundtrack is, I haven't heard the whole thing from top to bottom, so you make me want to do that right after we're done recording, so I may just do that. It is, but what I've heard from it is to say that it's epic is giving it a disservice. Such a great choice.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to keep us on the stage for a little bit longer, JT.
For your penultimate choice.
That's right. Oh, I love that word so much. Thank you for using it. My penultimate choice, meaning my number 2 choice, everybody. I truly believe myself to be the king of New York. I am talking about Newsies, the Broadway musical, 2017's Newsies. If you're a listener of the show, a longtime listener, you know my love for Newsies. It knows no ends. It is such a fun musical, and it is not a life I say this a lot about things. Did it change my life? It did not. Is it going to change your life? Probably not. But the music is so rich and so good. The music and lyrics by the great Alan Menken and Jack Feldman. It's just so beautiful. It hits me in a way that you wouldn't think a show called Newsies would hit. You know what I mean? Like it sends shivers down my spine when some of these notes are sung. It's just so well placed. All of the music. It's a really good soundtrack. If you're a runner or a cardio person of any kind, these songs are amazing to exercise to, because the rhythm of them is so specific that it's like, oh, this is the actual cadence that I run to. This is great. Perfect. That's not why it's a number 2 slot. It just happens to be a fact as well. But I don't know how to really describe it other than what I just said. It's just such a fun, almost campy, but not, I don't know if I would call it campy. It's just a really fun and no stakes kind of a musical. Do you know what I mean? There's just, you're going to have such a really fun time listening to all the music, and it all really makes a good collection. All of the songs sort of marry well into each other, which to me makes a really soothing soundtrack. I dislike it when there's like a number here or there that's like, what? That doesn't really belong. It kind of bothers me. So this soundtrack from beginning to end is just perfection for me. And as you said about The Lion King, more so than the movie version. The movie version was good, but this took it to a whole new level. And it's mostly the same songs, a couple of new ones. Specifically, the song "Watch What Happens" is really, really, really beautiful.
Yes.
But yeah, top to bottom, it's just a fun time to put this soundtrack on in the background.
Yeah, Newsies, it's a fun time.
Yeah,
it's just a great time. That's a good cleaning soundtrack too. That'll get you.
Yeah, the thing is, whenever I put it, I say put it on the background, but it never stays in the background. It always turns up to 11 for me, and then I just go to town with Newsies.
And that's Jeremy Jordan is on that 2017 cast recording, right?
It sure is. Jeremy Jordan and Kara Lindsay, I believe.
Yeah, Kara Lindsay. Yeah, yeah. Oh, so good.
It's
So good.
amazing, incredible, and you can see this on Disney Plus. The Broadway version is
That's
played on
right.
Disney Plus. So if you haven't seen it, give it a look and give it a listen.
I cannot argue with that choice at all. Cannot.
It's just so near and dear to my heart. It's never going to go away from me, I think.
Well, and one of the things I love about it too is that it's an original Disney property that's a musical that's not tied to a fairy tale.
Yeah.
It's just a great, and it is very, in a lot of ways, it does harken back to like an old fashioned like Broadway musical type vibe of just you're there to have a good time. You know, kind of a thing.
It's very like anything goes, babes in arms, that kind of stuff. It's just like there's no stakes. It's just a fun time.
I love it.
I like it.
That's
Thanks.
great.
Thanks. What about you? What's your number 2 slot?
Well, my number 2 is a little bit of a cheat. It is it's not a soundtrack or a cast recording, but it is an album, and it's a Disney album. So if my number 1 for any reason cannot fulfill her duties as number 1, this one will take its place. And that is a double album. It's a double album for number 2.
Okay.
Called the Sherman Brothers Songbook.
Oh,
Now,
yes.
The reason I selected this and did not call out any specific Sherman Brothers soundtrack is because the Sherman Brothers, as we know, have been, they are Disney music from the mid-century and the 60s and the 70s and even beyond that. And they did so much. And what I love about the Sherman Brothers Songbook, it is a double album. There are nearly 60 Sherman Brothers songs on this album.
Wow.
And it covers everything. There are songs from Mary Poppins on here. There are songs from Bedknobs and Broomsticks. There are songs from The Happiest Millionaire. There are songs from the one and only genuine original family band. There are songs from The Parent Trap. There are songs from some of the 1960s live action films where they just wrote the title song, like That Darn Cat. Or The Monkey's Uncle, or there are Winnie the Pooh songs on here because they wrote the Winnie the Pooh music.
That's right.
There are Jungle Book songs on here. There are Aristocats songs on here, and there are songs they wrote for the Disney parks. And so, not just It's a Small World, but there's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow from Carousel of Progress. There is music. I think the Tiki 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 Room is on here. There is music from just so many different movies and Disney park attractions. And, it is this like incredible double album where you really realize not just how prolific they were, but how talented they were and how much they are like Disney music in so many respects. This is also, it is a double album that you can buy, but the whole thing is streaming as well. So you can listen to all like 60 songs anytime you want, which I do often.
Yeah. Prolific is a great word for what they've given to us as a collection.
Yeah.
And you know me, you're not cheating at all. This is our podcast. We do what we want.
Thank you.
But I love a compilation, and so that's a perfect choice. It's all those songs are so, whether or not they're your favorite song, the song as soon as you hear it. You're like, oh, I didn't even know I knew this song, but here we are. Yeah.
And what's great about it is like you might have, let's be real. There are, plenty of the Disney live action movies from the 50s and 60s that are, parts would be problematic today, right? The other great thing is like if there's a song in there like this kind of, it's kind of like what we talked about with Pocahontas, where you can kind of pull the song out and enjoy the song on its own without necessarily having to like watch and sit through the movie or something like that.
Yeah, anything prior to, I don't know, 2000, you know what, I'll even say prior to 2020, there's some problematic things in any movie that's ever been made.
Absolutely.
And so, it's really, you kind of just have to appreciate the music for the music.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Great choice. It strikes me there needs to be a Sherman Brothers musical sometime on stage.
Let's write it.
Let's do it. It's happening. It's
Copyright
happening
JT
now.
and Patrick. Copyright Gays Through the D 2022.
And I think it just needs to be called A Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. If you could see Tweedles right now, JT paused for 4 or 5 minutes in shock and awe of my idea.
I'm speechless. Or you could call it One Little Spark.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, and it could be about a little boy or a little girl or someone who like finds their spark over the course of the musical.
Or maybe this is just the Figment musical, who can say?
Oh, yeah. Okay, now you're talking.
I think we're off the tracks now.
Okay, sorry.
Fully gone off the tracks. Amazing. All right. Well, JT, it's time. It's time for our number one. It's been a real journey, hasn't it?
I wonder if we have the same number one, Patrick.
Well, I'll tell you. Let's find out. For me, it's been a hero's journey, if you will.
Ooh, I'm on that road.
My number one spot is the soundtrack to 1995's Hercules. I mean, it doesn't get better for me than the
That's
Hercules
the gospel
soundtrack.
truth.
It is the gospel truth. It really goes from zero all the way to hero.
In no time flat.
In no time flat. I won't say I'm in love with Hercules, the soundtrack, but
Let's keep going.
I do go the distance for it. I will go the distance for it.
Good.
With this soundtrack, a star was born. I can't stop, you guys. It's a
Bless
gift.
my soul. Patrick's on a roll.
But this just goes to show you how many amazing songs are in Hercules. It is such, again, a perfect soundtrack, and they all marry each other so well. They're so uplifting. It complements the movie so well. You know what I mean? This sort of, I don't even know how to describe, like almost a 50s rock kind of a vibe to it, with some gospel music thrown in there, set to Hercules,
right?
set to Olympus. How does that marry? It does perfectly.
It does.
For some reason. And I don't know if there is a more uplifting soundtrack out there than the Hercules soundtrack, all the songs. And for that reason alone, I think it deserves some attention, in that it's just such a feel-good, can't help but smile, can't help but dance. It'll change your day. It'll change your energy every time you listen to it. You'll hear a lyric you hadn't heard before. Speaking of music and lyrics, once again, by the great Alan Menken, this time partnered with David Zippel. I can't say enough. It's a party album for Disney.
It is, yeah.
So yeah, that's why that is my number one spot, because it brings such joy to my life when I listen to it.
I fully support that. I mean,
Thank you.
it is it's an incredible album. It is a party album. It's like, of all the Disney animated films, it is the party album.
Yeah.
And it was so genius. Like, I'm assuming it was Alan Menken's idea, but so genius when you have a movie about gods of mythology to use gospel music to tell the story is just, it's genius. Like, it's absolute genius. It is the album. I mean, if you're going to put on a Disney animated soundtrack when you're working out or you're running or jogging or whatever, that's the one to put on, right? I cannot argue with that. And it is not my number one. So we do have different number ones.
Wow, we had no crossovers this time.
No crossovers. Amazing.
Amazing. All right, so Hercules is mine. What is your number one, JT?
So I battled internally with this for a little while because my number one choice, I felt, is a little bit of an easy choice, and it might be a little cliche or obvious, but you know what? I realized it's that way for a reason, and their cliches are cliches for a reason, and I have to live my truth and my story.
You do.
And so it might be overly obvious, but my number one is Beauty and the Beast, the original film soundtrack from 1991.
Yeah.
I can't, I mean, I don't even know where to begin with how much a part of my life this soundtrack has been. I mean,
that's totally fair.
From buying the cassette, as like a kid, and like listening to it nonstop, to graduating to the CD, and then and watching the movie countless times, and watching the music video with Celine Dion and Peebo Bryson every time it came on the Disney Channel and VH1, and I just, that movie and the music is just, that was like the Howard Ashman, of course, music by Alan Menken, lyrics by Howard Ashman. That is Howard Ashman's like crowning achievement. And just the fact that he was writing this music and working on this music in this film while he was dying of AIDS just adds a whole other level of meaning to the songs, especially some of the lyrics in some of the songs. And it's so, I mean, to me, this is like the pinnacle, just for me. I mean, lyrically, musically, I think Ben Brantley was the theater critic in the New York Times at the time. And when the film came out, he was like, this is the best Broadway musical in years. I mean, and I don't know how you can argue with that. I mean, and it has probably my favorite Disney lyric of all time. And it's in the, and first of all, I have to say, like, the voice talent is, I mean, Paige O'Hara as Belle, you had Jerry Orbach, David Ogden Stiers, and then, to have Angela Lansbury singing the title song. I mean, and so magically, and we've seen like the footage of her in the studio of singing this music. But my favorite Disney lyric of all time, and I've got to because I really don't want to get it wrong. It's bittersweet and strange, finding you can change, learning you were wrong.
Yeah.
There's like a whole year's worth of therapy in that, in those 3 lines. I just think that's just one of the most beautiful lyrics that has ever been written, and it just says so much.
Yeah. Beauty and the Beast is I've always had I was going to say a love-hate relationship, but I never hated it by any stretch of the imagination. I think it just got so overplayed for me for such a long time that I kind of stepped away from it for a while. But like nowadays, I am able to appreciate it so much more for what it is, because you can tell the thought and the process and the time that went into writing the music specifically. Whether or not you can say that about the rest of the movie itself, and it is a great movie, but the music is so special, and the music is the movie, if you will.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it is. You will not have the movie without these songs in it, because they are what really tell the story of Beauty and the Beast, are all of these songs. So it is a wonderful choice for your number one spot.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you, JT.
No, yes, thank me. And I will give a shout out. I do love the Broadway cast recording, which added some great new songs from Alan Menken and Tim Rice.
Yeah.
And I probably will not shout out the 2017.
There's no need.
There's no need. No.
Yeah. No, the Broadway soundtrack is I don't know if I would say equally, but just as important, I think, as the
it's a great companion piece.
It is a great companion piece, and there are some really amazing songs that really sort of fill out what's already been done to the soundtrack, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, great job, JT. You've survived your first Fab Five here on Gauge of the D, and we didn't have one fight.
Oh, amazing! But there's still time in the episode to fight, so don't worry, everybody.
Let's do it. Let's try it.
Let's throw down.
Were there any soundtracks that you were like, this was almost in there, but I just for some reason didn't put it in?
Yeah, I mean, funnily enough, Hercules is your number one choice.
Yeah.
Almost made the cut. And then another thing I wrestled with, and when I ultimately ended up with the Sherman Brothers, was, do I put Mary Poppins in here?
Oh, yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's a good one.
What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of them. I almost put Tangled in there, but I feel like there just wasn't enough music in Tangled to really say it's my favorite soundtrack. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, because just like you were saying, where Beauty and the Beast, the music is the movie, I feel like you still can have the Tangled movie in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
Maybe necessarily not. I mean, obviously there's great songs on the Tangled soundtrack, but that movie could still exist without one or two of those songs.
Yeah.
Maybe. You know what I mean?
I think that's exactly right. Yeah. There are some songs that usually make my top 10 or 5 list of favorite songs, but so also Encanto. I'm obsessed with Encanto.
Yes.
I don't really know why I didn't put it on there, other than I think I just liked Moana a little bit better than Encanto, and I don't know why. And I'll unpack that another day. Maybe.
Yeah,
but
listen, work that out with your therapist.
Yeah.
I think Coco too. That's another one that nearly made the cut for me. because that music is just fantastic. And
It's
Remember
really
Me
beautiful.
it would be like on a top list of Disney songs for me.
Mm-hmm.
Or Recuerda Me, if you're going to do the
There you go.
Spanish version.
There you go.
Yeah.
So many songs, so many soundtracks to celebrate. In fact, we had a lot of our Tweedles write in, and they gave us their. Now, we didn't ask them for their entire Fab Five, otherwise we would be here for decades. But they did write in. I'm just going to give you a couple of them because there's so many of you.
So many
gave us yours, but there are some really fun ones and some that we didn't think about. Some people are thinking outside the box. Parker, for instance, at ADV Parker on Instagram writes in, for movies, probably Coco, JT, but then goes on to say, in terms of the parks, and I didn't even think about this, anything that has been played at Epcot. Yeah, great choice.
Yeah, I mean, you could have even like we could have said like a background loop or something, like the entrance plaza loop at Epcot. Yeah.
Yes. For me, it would be Hollywood Studios. The entrance to Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
That soundtrack is fantastic.
We also have Maverick 21 FM called out Rogue One.
Ooh.
Which, yeah, I mean, and that's purely like a score, and it totally counts.
Yeah.
And that's a great, like some Star Wars representation there. And Rogue One is a great movie, and it's a great score too. I don't know who wrote. I'm trying to remember. I don't know who wrote the score for Rogue One. Do you?
I don't know the answer to that, actually.
Okay.
I don't know the answer. I'm sorry to tell you. A couple of people said, this is a very different movie, but a couple of people said a Goofy movie. Betsy at Wish Upon a Mom said that, as did Jared at J Square 3. So apparently they see eye to eye on a Goofy movie.
Ooh.
See what I did there?
They think, and they also think that a Goofy movie stands out from the crowd.
It sure
stands out in a crowd. Yeah,
yeah, it sure does. We have to review that movie eventually because it is an underrated movie for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, Powerline forever.
Powerline forever.
and when I say forever, that's the number 4. Ever.
Forever.
Yeah. And then also, I feel like we have to say, because a couple people also, Matthew HIB, I don't know how to say this Instagram handle, HIBDONDE.
Oh,
Hibdonde.
I can say it. Oh, you actually did. It is at Hibdonde.
At Hibdonde, called out Tarzan, which, yes, Phil Collins was in his bag with the Tarzan soundtrack. Two Worlds.
Here's the thing for me with Tarzan. I don't love enough of the songs. I do like a lot of the songs, but there were there were more than 2 that I was like, okay, this is a fine song, but I don't really love it. Maybe that's why I did. But the ones that are good are good. So yeah, I feel it.
And I mean, yeah, because you've got You'll Be in My Heart on there. Trash in the Camp. That's another one from Tarzan, right?
It's literally a banger. You know what I mean?
Literally.
Hey-o.
A banger. Very nice. All right.
Well, one for you, JT Irving. Ooh. At Irving.Virgin called out, for me, it's Beauty and the Beast, but the Broadway musical. Irving goes on to say, Beauty and the Beast is my favorite movie, and the additional songs are just incredible, and Home is one of the best songs in the musical, and I will never forgive Disney for not including it in the live-action remake. I mean...
Accurate.
And that's correct.
And that's why we're not going to talk about that movie, because...
Yes.
Instead of writing new songs, there were a few songs that were literally right there.
Yeah.
Right there. I feel the same way about the Lion King remake.
Yes.
Because again, there were Shadowlands was right there,
Beyonce, and you had Shadowlands, and you put them in opposite ends of the room and said, no, don't look at each other.
Yeah,
I mean, what are you doing?
Come on, they're right there. And I love his call out of Home, because I do think that Home is... probably of all the new songs on that Broadway cast recording, I think Home is the strongest.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
Go back and listen. If you're a fan of the Broadway musical, if you're a fan of Susan Egan, go back and listen to our episode where we interviewed Susan Egan, and she has the most wonderful story about how the song Home came to be. It will make you cry. I'm not going to talk about it now. Go back and listen to it, but it's a really wonderful story. So yeah, Home is an amazing song.
Love it. Love it. We also had Mark at Mark Runs Disney. Says usually love a compilation or mix, but if I have to pick just one movie soundtrack, Aladdin. And Aladdin is not one that didn't pop up in either one of our lists, but also a great soundtrack.
It really is a great soundtrack. I don't know why it didn't make my list. There are no really flaws in it, I guess, of Aladdin. It's a fun musical. I think here's the thing about Aladdin for me. Now that I'm unpacking it,
Yeah.
it's a scotch simplistic when it comes to a lot of the other soundtracks we were talking about today.
Fair.
In my opinion. I will say the Broadway version of Aladdin, the music, the rearrangements they did for a lot of the songs are really wonderful. So
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
Well, what do you say? With that, should we call it a day, JT?
We've got a lot of music to listen to.
We've got a lot of music to listen to. All of our Tweedles do as well. But your work is not done. I'm sure a lot of you out there did not write into us yet. So if you have a Fab 5 list for us, or what is your favorite, maybe your top one favorite Disney soundtrack or album or musical experience, I guess, as it were, let us know. Let us know what that is. You can reach out to us on all of the social media platforms at GDTD Podcast, or, of course, leave us those voice memos or emails at info@gazetothed.com.
Well, Patrick, what say we head on to the coda of this episode?
Oh, we're reaching for the stars now, aren't we? It's been a long night, everybody.
Am I reaching for the stars here? No.
Hey, JT.
Hey, Patrick.
Guess what time it is, JT?
Is it time for some Quick D?
No, it is 8:21 p.m. according to my clock. But yes, in fact, it is also time for some Quick D. Mm-hmm. Are you ready, JT?
I'm always ready for some Quick D, Patrick.
Fantastic, because if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready for Quick D. That's right. This time around, folks, we are doing Quick D Imagine Queering. That is where I draw a name of an attraction from a Disney park out of my Chewbacca mug, and we gay it up. Let's be clear, Disney attractions are already pretty gay,
yeah.
But we're going to take it to 11 on the gaydar. Are you ready, JT, for our Imagine Queering topic today?
I am ready. I was born this way.
You were born this way. We are. Fun fact: I drew one that we already did.
Oh.
Patrick, pull your life together. Get it in order. All right, here we go.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh boy.
We are Imagine Queering the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
No. Okay. I can do this.
I really believe in us that we can gay up the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
I think we can. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this turns into the RuPaul Tower of Terror.
Okay, RuPaul's Tower of Terror.
Of Terror. Mm-hmm, So when you walk in not to the hotel lobby, but you walk into a very sort of abandoned workroom.
Okay, purse first, of course.
Purse first, of course. Always purse first.
Perfect. I'm with you.
Yes, into the workroom. And you are given you were told that one day, a long time ago, two queens were in a lip sync battle.
In the Brewster Project.
Projects. And one of them got off sync with the lip syncing. And it caused a chain reaction. And 4 queens lost their wigs that day.
Mm-hmm. That's terrifying in and of itself.
In and of itself, yes. Mm-hmm. They fell down an elevator shaft at World of Wonder Productions.
You know what? And that is the ultimate death drop.
That is the ultimate. Yes, you're with me here. You're with me. So you've got to retrieve the wigs.
Got it.
And can you survive the ultimate death drop?
I like this
because
okay,
when you
like
and you know you're traveling along in your elevator car, and before you drop, RuPaul appears on the screen, much like much like Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout.
Yes,
and Ru appears, like the screen in the workroom, and she tells you that the time has come for you to drop. For your life.
That's right. You've got to retrieve all of the wigs.
And a diva pop song will, of course, play for you as you are dropping up and down, retrieving the wigs.
Yeah, super into seeing maybe some drag queens on each of the floors as the doors open.
Absolutely.
All of a sudden, Trixie Mattel. I mean, who wouldn't scream?
Who wouldn't scream? I mean? Derek Barry. Who wouldn't scream? Maybe a couple of lip sync performances as you bob, sort of like Mission Breakout does, where you bob and you watch the scenes.
Right. Yeah. I like it. And then every time you drop, you'd see like a Shangela, just death drops, and then the drop is coming.
And then when you finally end, you end in a little screening room where RuPaul says, congratulations. You done already had a yours.
You done already had your death drops. I like this. This is definitely the gayest thing I can think of.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
RuPaul's Tower of Terror. I mean, yeah, that holds true. I feel like the title alone, RuPaul's Tower of Terror, now with fracking. You know what I mean?
That will do it for this episode of Gays Do the D. Thanks for listening. To become a patron of the podcast, visit our website at gaysdothed.com/donate. For a donation of any amount, you can receive exclusive Gays Do the D content and help us to continue to bring you the very best Disney news and discussion. Continue the conversation after this episode on Instagram and Twitter at GDTD Podcast. Submit your questions or show ideas to info@gaysdothed.com. Have a great week, everybody. See you real soon.